So, Tammy Wynette and Demerol. How does that sort of thing, I'm saying, how does those two things go together? The fitting over the tablecloth with that sort of thing. Tammy Wynette and the practice of Demerol. That's off the hook. Like, subscribe, ID in the Discovery channel. Yes, ID in the Discovery channel. The links are provided below. You might in fact want to get that Discovery Go app as well as that ID Go app. Get those two and combine them together and make them as one. And get joyful and loose with even that sort of thing. The apps, I'm saying, they present the goods. Yes, with the OWN network, there's in fact an app for that as well, in case you want to know or need to know with that too. It helps to be extraordinary in life and tell from my end to yours, the viewers, and you be extraordinary as well, as in bring that the comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think about this video, even in relation to Tammy Wynette. Yes, Tammy Wynette. I'm country just as much as she was. But anyway, rocky romances and drug addictions. Demerol. This is one of those drugs you don't hear much of. Well, I don't know. And yet when it comes to the takedown of country star Tammy Wynette at the height of her career involving opioid addiction. Opioid addiction such as Demerol was the very substance in which threw a monkey wrench, yes, into Wynette's game. Did you catch that? The very thing that had set her career off in so many people, yes, opioids and the addiction, Demerol and all the rest, right? That's what in fact happened. I vaguely remember a Tammy Wynette. Vaguely. I'm more, Garth Brooks. I'm trying to think. Because it started talking about country stars is to ask, well, which way to go? And which season? And the reason of why, right? So with a Tammy Wynette, that sort of whatever, right? Situation of being addicted to pills. With the entertainment industry, that sort of thing in fact had been going on too since the beginning of time, as in it's known and easy, more than likely to be strung out rather quick, because they have access to money and to have open access to a supplies of drugs, right? And not only that, no, I'm not laughing about that. I'm laughing about a message that came in a little bit before I made this message, so my deepest apologies. But you know how when you be on camera, other YouTubers in fact have this situation where they're trying to talk about a serious matter, right? And yet before they got on camera, they was in fact speaking to someone or speaking in a message about something pertaining to something before, right? And it's in fact funny, and yet you're trying to stay serious, have a serious tone in relation to what you're speaking on topic, and yet your brain keeps going off topic, remembering what just happened, right? And so that's why I said apologies for that. But yes, it's stated family and friends of Wynette found, they in fact fought desperately to help her out of the hole in which she was in. Wynette fell into a hole. Her abuse, yes, and all the rest that points in with that. And I stated that in the opening of that, the pill popping and all that being the demise of her career, but her family in fact tried to, do an intervention with that sort of thing. Anytime you see family and they're famous in Hollywood and celebrity star and all that, right, it's to say you're not gonna want to see them in a dark pit with that sort of thing. You want to do everything as much as possible to get them out, because if you don't, that could lead to more darkness and possibly being placed up underneath, as in the ground, hole in a coffin, right? But yes, with that, for those that don't know, Demerol is a very hardcore medication substance. Be used for it. That type of thing is a widely versatile. I'm saying various people use that type of drug for various things or various situations, right? But the point is, it's a highly addictive type of drug. It in fact is, right? And so with Wynette, her former hairstylist remembers Wynette as upbeat and fun to be around, as well as healthy. right? That's in fact what she was. Her former hairstylist remembers Wynette as upbeat and fun to be around, as well as healthy. And yet somewhere in all, everything took a downturn. I was going to say downpour, a downturn. Because to end up in destruction is to say that sort of thing happened. And yet why? Could it have been, the success or something? Or, because sometimes people, in fact, are known to, yes, use drugs and overuse drugs, because sometimes when they get too famous, and once again, I don't know how famous, I'm saying I wasn't there in the same time period enough to see with my own two eyes how quickly fame, yes, found a Tammy Wynette. And how was she able to withstand and withhold even that, the fame aspect? How was she able to even settle her ways with that sort of thing? Because even fame is known to make some people antsy with that. I was going to say antsy in the pants. Even usually children use that term, but that would fit as well. How was she known to strategize even her own fame, such as dealing with it on a day-to-day business? Some people that, in fact, the fame aspect, in fact, even messes with their mind even when they're away from the shine and the spotlight, right? It, in fact, does. That's, in fact, a true, for those that don't know, such as the viewers, in relation to Hollywood, fame is known to strip some people to the core, right? In relation to, because with that sort of thing, even in standing and greeting, as in greeting the public, or having your face out there where everybody can see it, or slander it, or say you're making movies or something with that sort of thing, and you're being famous, and you want your last movie to be you want your next movie to be just as good as your last movie, and then maybe it's not, maybe it's a flop or something like that. These sort of people, famous people, a lot of times don't really depending on who the person is, don't really handle that sort of thing too well, the fame. And sometimes even the approach, depending on who's surrounding them, their team of people and all the rest. Even when drug suppliers are surrounding them, because even that can help mess up an image. If, say, people know that he's there, the person that's providing the drug, right? And they know that he's the drug man, drug dealer, right? And you're sitting next to him, you more likely wouldn't want him in photographs with you, because that's going to help mess up an image as well, right? And yet for Tammy Wynette, it's questionable who could have been all the individuals she allowed to have around her, and why. While the lights were up, or possibly even when they were dim, right? Who could have been there to take advantage of her, as in gaining a prize, possessions such as money and all the rest, right? But yes, Jan Smith, one former friend and hairstylist to Wynette, states, we'd make various hospital stops, various hospital stops, until Wynette got as much medication as she needed. Did you hear me on that? A hairstylist, yes, and former friend of Wynette stated that they would go from hospital to hospital to try to pick up as much medications as they could, yes, in relation to Wynette's drug habit and addiction, and the process with all that sort of thing, right? And so a Georgette Jones, Wynette's daughter, stated, since doctors prescribed medications to my mom, that made it okay. She's basically trying to say, because a doctor was doing it, it almost seemed in the public eyes that would have been okay, just because a doctor was doing it, despite that not being right. That was a case, but it wasn't the case. For her daughter to say that. For her daughter to say, since doctors prescribed medications to my mom, that made it right. She basically was saying that was a way for the mother to be more prone to addiction, because anytime a doctor does it, is to say that it's more legal than, say, somebody running a street pharmacy, such as a meth house or a meth lab or a drug lab or something like that. That's what she's trying to say. It's more okay if the doctor's doing it, but it's really not, especially if addiction is there, right? But it will be viewed as that. And I'm thinking she's trying to speak on the end of the doctor, of her daughter, speak on the end of the doctor, Tammy Wynette's daughter saying that, like, well, it just seemed like it would have been okay if the doctor prescribed it. And yet I'm thinking the daughter more than likely felt that that was wrong, because, yeah, addiction is really real, right? And so back in 1978, George Ritchie managed Wynette's career, and by then Wynette was already addicted to Demerol, as in fully maxed out and gone. Is this a truth? I want you, the viewer, to tell me. To play on words is to state some words and possibly curse you out in the process. And yeah, not fully, dear viewer, but to have fun with even that is to allow the viewer to pick apart the pieces and decide, was that a truth, what I just stated. Back in I'm going to rewind again and repeat it again so you can hear me clearly. Back in 1978, George Ritchie managed Wynette's career, and by then Wynette was already addicted to Demerol, as in fully maxed out and gone. There's no coming back, no it's not, from even that by ways of a red, such as, yes, a red light code red, or whatever you want to call it, right? Yes, that sort of thing. So many within Wynette's circle since George Ritchie may have not had Wynette's best interest in mind by sneaking Wynette drugs. And he was also reassuring Wynette that all would be just fine as long as she had him in her company. That's almost like a form of manipulation in a sense. It is. That's in fact a form of manipulation for a grown man to be a part of, say, the inner circle of Tammy Wynette, right? And him sneak her drugs and then him reassure her that all would be just fine by him telling her that as long as she had him in her company, is what he said. He basically was sneaking this woman drugs, letting her know all will be just fine as long as you keep me in your company. That's a form of manipulation in a sense. And this information was in fact shared by Nanette England. And that's in fact Wynette's former hairstylist. Why would you want to, drink and drive with that sort of thing? Not completely, that's a play on words too, but I'm saying somebody that wants to manipulate and yet to be that far on drugs. Yes, with that. It's to say somebody could easily take advantage of you and more likely wipe your whole career out. And not only that, more likely wipe you out too. Hey, Tammy Wynette, putting somebody that has, manipulation down to, on even that, on her. Because that's to say that a grown man is going to make your choices and all the rest pertaining to your funds and all the rest. I was going to say mutual funds, and that's out of context. And yet when two people are involved in a situation, it's to say once manipulation is placed and set there, it's to say, yes, once again, they can get over on you. And the funds that was there for the actual individual, such as Tammy Wynette, will now become the funds of somebody else. And getting over on you using smooth words while you're high. And trying to, for them to try to stay in your world, right? That's not going to work out for long, as in more likely it's prone to end in death. And I'm thinking, that's how more likely Tammy has met her demise, as in picking the wrong and choosing the wrong individuals and friends with that sort of thing. I'm not saying her drug use was the thing that killed her. No, I'm saying her selection of the individual, such as that male that she chose to have. And I said his name already, right? Because see, that man more than likely, knew with that, as in what he could have gotten over on, and possibly not even, or possibly wouldn't even care if she dropped dead or something, right? Some of these men, in fact, don't. Which could be why they come into your world and let you know, well, I will help you with your drug habit if you need it. And not only that, you're going to be just fine if you got me around, right? That could be why she's dead, is all I'm saying. And I said that helps to repeat. So, shouts out to Paula. Yes, Evil Lives here. Fatal Vows. Lieutenant Joe Kenda, Homicide Hunter. That's a shouts out as well. Red Rum and yet not. No, it's not The Shining. Hell no. But the description is right here. Add to favorites. Blood relatives. Most evil ranked. American Monster. Episode or unlocked episodes. Well, I was gonna say apple cider. In fact. Unlocked episodes: To Catch a Killer, Season 1, Episode 1. Twisted Stories, Season 1, Episode 1. Blood Runs Code, Season 1, Episode 1. What Lies Beneath. Twisted, Season 7, Episode 3. Let me click all the way over right quick. I'm trying to see my screen when it alters and turns blue. I know you, the viewer, possibly noticed that. On Last Night, Fatal Vows, Season 6, Episode 6. In Plain Sight, Season 1, Episode 4. To get into this, to have full access is, in fact, click the key. The killer hookup, right? These are all our good shows with that sort of thing. And they're, in fact, all locked until you provide who your provider is. Helps to tell what to spell with that. To Catch a Killer, Inside the Chase. Twisted, Pamela Smart, Most Evil Ranked. Schedule preview. Yes, what's on now? I said that already, didn't I? Or was that in my last video? Live now. The show disappeared. Save the Children. Let me scroll down. If you click here, Nick Nolte, the crime feed news, crimefeednews.com. That's in fact Nick Nolte's face. If you click anywhere in this, it's going to in fact take you on the outside to the crimefeed.com, right? It is. That's why it awaits you. So to want to receive a newsletter is to type in your email address and then click next with that sort of thing. That's what you want to do with that, right? Scratch and sniff and get off with even that. Something about that. I don't even know what that means, and yet it works. As in a closing statement. So that's all to be said for now. That's a classic textbook case. I'm saying they're sitting there. You might even want to check that, as in zoom over and zoom in with that and watch a preview with this. Deadline, Crying with Tamron Hall. Listen and learn is to observe. I'm gone.